Amen, amen. Let's get started. I want to start today with, we're going to jump right in, right, with the topic of this the decision that matters the most. The decision that matters the most. I wanted to really talk about this because in life we get to make a lot of decisions that determine the outcome of our lives, right? But there's one decision that outweigh all of the decisions that we'll make each and every day. And that decision is where we would choose to spend eternity. And I wanted to think on this thought that imagine that you've been privileged to be able to make a decision based off of faith alone and not works. And you choose to either not believe and end up in hell, which is a place where there will be torment forever and ever with no end. And in the midst of the torment, you're given a few seconds to think this thought. Man, this the best decision I made? I made this decision? I've been given opportunity after opportunities to believe and put my faith in Him who came to redeem me. And this is the place that I choose to be at, to hang out at, to reside at the rest of my life, to be in anguish, to be in torment. Because once final judgment has been given, there will be no redos. You can redo your credit. You can repair a business. You can repair your marriage. But when you stand toe to toe with God, after all of these years, if you playing God and thinking that you're God, and you stand toe to toe with the real God, and He say, "Depart from me, I never knew you," you're not big enough. You're not strong enough to overthrow His judgment. There will be no mistrials. You will not be able to go and pay for a superstar attorney to defend you. "Depart from me, I never knew you," will be some of the harsh words that a lot of people will have to deal with and face when Judgment Day arrives. There's a story in Luke chapter 16, I believe. It was about the rich man and Lazarus. This rich man had it all. He was eating the finest of the finest. He was dressing the best that he can dress. He had a cool crib. He had status. He had it all. And there was this poor man named Lazarus that laid at his gate, who the dogs used to come and lick on his open wounds on his body. And this man was looking for the crumbs that came from this rich man's table just to eat upon. And in the world lens, this man is looked at as poor, but in God's eyes, this man is rich in faith. And they both had to die. It says that the poor man went off with the angels, but this rich man who had it all, who thought he had it all, went off to Hades. And it says that he was in this place of Hades, and he called out and he said, "Can you send the man that was laying at my gate, the man that the world deemed as poor? Can you send him with a cup of water and let him dip his hand in the water and let that drip just hit my tongue just a little bit?" And God said, "No. You had your opportunity. You had your opportunity, but you denied me over and over and over again. You chased after the things of the world. You were full of zeal to chase after a lie that the enemy covered up, that made it appealing to your heart to want to be able to strive for something that had no lasting value, for something that could not save you from yourself. So you enjoyed it, but that enjoyment had an expiration date. But this torment that you're sitting in, this place of Hades, this place of hell, it has no ending to it. Your decisions matter. It is crucial to make the right decision that will put you on the right path, that will direct you to the right place. Your soul is depending on your decision. Whether it will live in paradise, peace, joy, love, comfort, more than enough, living in a place of abundance, living where there's no killing, living where there's no stealing, living in a place where there's no backbiting, living in a place that is just glorious in its ways, and you chose to go live in a place that gives you no life, that puts you in a place of pain. Isn't that what we're trying to get away from? The pains and the curses of this life. And you chose to live in that lifestyle for the remainder of your life. There's a better way, but you have to choose it. God cannot choose the way for you. He paved the path for you. He made this path. He says, I'm jumping ahead, but he says there's pathways that many travel along. And he says the wide and the broad path. And he says the straight and narrow path. And he says this wide and broad path. It says that many people take this route. These are people who live life their way. These are people who enjoy sin. The theme of this path is the blind leading the blind. A blind man leading another blind man. And this is the crazy part. They are expecting results. They are looking for life, but they're blind. How can one blind man lead another blind man to life? Claiming they have the way, but they're really lost. They are drowning in the lie of the enemy. Suffocated by the lie of the enemy. And he says there's another path that you can take, which is the straight and narrow path, which requires you to live in faith, obedience to my word. The theme of this path is those who live their life based upon what God tells them to do. Man must not live on bread alone, but every word that comes out of the Father's mouth. And he will be your provider. John 14:6 says this, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No man comes to the Father except through me. The cross is foolish. The cross is a stumbling block to those who are perishing. But to those who believe, but to those who are being saved, it is the power of God. You got to humble yourself. Your money, your power, your influence can get you in many doors that's controlled by man. But this door right here that's controlled by Jesus Christ, to be able to get into paradise, to be able to get to the place that God has sent his son for us, to be able to have the opportunity to experience, you're going to have to go through him. You're going to have to go through this way. Money can't get you in. Influence can't get you in. Popularity can't get you in. See, the rich hide secrets from the poor man. But God didn't hide that secret, how to get here. He made it available and very clear. You got to go through this way. If you're a thief, you can come through this way. If you're a robber, you can come through this way. If you have been a murderer, you can come through this way. You got access as long as you come through me. As long as you come through me, you got access. But which path will you choose? Life or death? Good or evil? You can't blame anyone for where you will spend eternity. That will be all determined by you. And don't be confused looking at your blessings, looking at your material wealth, and measuring that as in this is where you are with God. Because God can still provide and still not be pleased with you. because it says that he reigns on the just and the unjust.